City in front after 12 seconds. And it's the same routine. Back to Stefan Ortega, who's taken a fair few seconds. But it had plenty of numbers back in the right places. Given away to Amrabat. Dallo. And Garnacho. And he held his run and timed it well enough. Ortega's come out, and it's a gift of a goal for Garnacho!
Well, that's what happens when you gamble. That's what happens when you don't give up and chase it. I just wonder whether they thought it was offside, you know, the Man City players, for that original first run.
Well, they're asking the question now, and VAR will have the full forensics on it, but for me, he looked onside right from the start. And Manchester City have got themselves in a right old mess, and it's United who fully punished it.
Well, he times his run to perfection, you know, and that's what happens when you're patient. As I said, sometimes you've got to gamble and expect a mistake. There's that run in there, look, you can see he's clearly onside, and he's hoping for an error. He's hoping for a nudge from the defender. It's better than that.
For that, Bruno Fernandes, Menu, Rashford denied what would have been his first Wembley FA Cup goal.
Pass that was.
Garnacho, it's Bruno Fernandes, oh what a ball, and Menu scores! Never mind the double-double, it's a Manchester United first half double.
Just brilliant from Manchester United. The way they move the ball, the way they switch the ball with Rashford's pass. And then the way they play and pass and find Menu in there and the finish. Just sensational. What a goal that is. Full of confidence.
And it's the other Stockport footballing wonder. Not Phil Foden today so far. It's Kobbie Mainoo's moment. At 19 years old, he scores in the cup final. But take a bow, Bruno Fernandes.
Absolutely. And Garnacho. Fernandes.
Here's Doku. Doku gets it across. As has been the case all day, there is a player in red waiting for it.
McTominay this time.
Foden. Doku. It's half a yard, and he's found a way past Onana. City have one back. Do they have a way back?
Well, we've mentioned Onana a few times in terms of wonderful saves in the second half and coming for crosses. I think he should do better there. Yes, Doku, it's a good strike and he cuts inside on that right foot. Whether he sees it late or not, a lot of the time he's gone down the outside, but this time inside.
Manchester United are the FA Cup winners in 2024.
Much as what's been missing in this Manchester United team for large parts of this season. It wasn't today. They had a great attitude. They went out and they played the manager's instructions, and they did it to perfection, particularly in that first half, where every single player played their part. And when they were put under severe pressure in the second half, for most of the time they stood firm.
Let's hear it one more time for your runners-up, Manchester City. Racing your field medals in the Royal Box is leading physical trainer Elliot Hawks from the Royal Navy. And presenting the Emirates EFL Cup for today's final is Flight Lieutenant George Stillwell from the Airforce.
Thank you, Gary. Well, Eric will never be the king at Manchester United. That title belongs to another. But he will now forever be Eric the Red, no matter what the next few days and weeks hold for him. A bit of redemption at the end, maybe, or perhaps more than that. Is this the start of a red revival? Sir Jim Ratcliffe's mind and money will certainly help. When he completed his £1.25 billion deal for 27.7% of the club in February, he spoke about knocking Liverpool and City off their perch. And I think he can sit back tonight and consider this one step taken towards that goal. What a player that young man is. The FA Cup Final, star of the show for 2024, Kobbie Mainoo. Just behind Eric Ten Hag, another star. Approaching the other end of his career, Raphael Varane. This is the end for him at Manchester United. He's going elsewhere. But he's saying goodbye as an FA Cup winner after surely running Mainoo close for the player of the match honours himself. It's a fierce rivalry, the Manchester one, but this has been by and large verging on a friendly final. It's been played in a good spirit, well refereed by Andy Madley and his team. Nothing too taxing or testing for them. Manchester United now get the handshakes, the first feelings of celebration before the trophy is lifted. They've ended City's 35-game unbeaten run in all competitions. They've ended Rodri's run of 74 games without defeat, and they've stopped City winning the double in successive seasons. That will all mean an awful lot, but not as much as winning the FA Cup itself does and qualifying for Europe, which was an absolute must when you're Manchester United. A great cheer greets the sight of Sir Alex Ferguson on the Wembley screens. And there at the back of the queue is the captain, Bruno Fernandes, who will become the 8th different Manchester United FA Cup winning captain. Following Charlie Roberts, Johnny Carey, Noel Cantwell, Martin Buchan, Brian Robson, Steve Bruce, Eric Cantona, Roy Keane and Wayne Rooney. United now just one behind Arsenal, 13 FA Cup successes. Whether they're going by trains up the motorway or by country roads, United fans will be singing their songs all the way and into Europe next season. Today, they found a way. And in 2024, the FA Cup winners are Manchester United.